everybody, it's me, Stacy, here at Scrapbooking Made Simple with YouTube number 108. It's a slow progress to YouTube 200. When we get closer, I'll start counting down. But at least we're on 108, and I have got wonderful products to show you. Some of them from the anniversary sale. That way, when you get your products, you'll know what we did with them and how to use them. And some that you probably haven't ever seen before, and I'm excited to bring that to you. However, I want to start by saying thank you for all of your comments. Thank you for your suggestions about how much Stacy is too much Stacy. I have thought, I have pondered, I have really, got to a place where I have to decide what's best for Stacy. And honestly, what's best for me is just to be me. Now, if this is usually the place where you skip forward and you wait until you see me tilt down and start with the projects, I'm going to ask you to just hang for just 1 minute or two. And so I can get this out, and then you can skip over all of this and start, and you're going to love what I've got to show you. I've been going to those YouTube classes. I've told you all about it. And in those YouTube classes, they talk about analytics. And analytics are the data that YouTube gains from you, what you watch, how long you watch, when you watch. They can't see like per user, like user number 1, 2, 3 logged on at this time, they watched this for this long. It's a general, a general bit of information that they provide to us so we can learn and get better and see how much you're watching and see where you fall off. And I was looking at all of those, and then I started to stress over it, and a lot of you jump right past my intro, which is okay, but then maybe I should stop doing my intro, but that's really not who I am. So regardless of what the analytics say, I'm just gonna be me. And with that comes all the little stories and the little things I say, and my holy smokes artichokes, and my winter chicken dinner, and I have a new one, cuckoo cachoo. Not sure where that came from, but it's been coming out lately. And you're not gonna hurt my feelings, not one bit, if you skip my intro and you go right down to where I start on the demo. I get it. There's only so much time in the day, and you want to see what you want to see. But I have to be me, and I really gave it some serious soul searching on how I could change these, and I just don't think I can, because then it's really not me anymore. So, if this is normally where you slide on by, I'll see you when I tilt on down. I know you'll be back because I can kind of see there's a graph. Like the first 30 seconds I see a huge drop off, and then after my intro I see you all come back. It's very interesting, a little scary, but very interesting. So I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to announce our winners, because I think that's important to announce who's won. They want to hear their names. I think that's exciting. I would want to hear my names. And then those of you who follow us on Facebook saw a picture of my dad the other day. I posted a picture of what my dad looks like and a picture of me and my dad. And yes, he is darling. He's 86, and I stand about 1.5 feet taller than he is. And it reminded me that I tell you a lot about my dad, but not a lot about my mom. And you all know by now that my husband and I are the full-time caregivers for my parents. My dad has Alzheimer's, and my mom has dementia, along with a few other things. But we are their full-time caregivers. And when my mom didn't have dementia, my mom was all about spending money. She loves to spend her money. Take her to Vegas, and oh my gosh. She's like, well, you can't take it with you, Stacy. And when she was able to drive and be on her own, she would go to Steinmart and Kohl's, and then she'd come to the store and she'd bring clothes. You would think that they would just be for me, that she'd be clothes shopping for me, but no, if she saw something for Mary Lynn, or if she saw something for one of the other girls, she would buy it for them, because she just wanted everybody to be happy. Well, the other day, hospice called yesterday actually, and she didn't have such a good day. And my mom is always about Earl. He's our financial advisor, and Rattlers. If anything goes wrong in our life, ever, call Earl, the financial advisor. He'll send you more money, Stacy. We don't ever call Earl. And order Rattlers for dinner. Somehow Earl and Rattlers seems to make everything better. So tonight we're gonna have Rattlers, because my mom had a rough day yesterday, and I know that that will make her happy. It would make her more happy if I called Earl and had him send money and I went shopping with it, but we can't do that. We need to take care of my mom and dad. But But for you, Mom, Rattlers is on the menu tonight. Okay, so that's a little bit about my mom. Oh, I didn't mean to get all teary-eyed. I am so sorry. Now, we have winter chicken dinner. And I will post a picture of me and my mom next week. I'll take a picture of the two of us. I'm just as tall. I'm a foot and a half taller than my mom, too. I don't know where I came from. The milkman, I'm not sure, but... But anyway, we have winter chicken dinner. And this was from the last YouTube. And I absolutely love our first winner, who was randomly picked by a program that we have. So but when I saw it, it just melted my heart, and it just, if I could have this username, I would have this username. So if you are, I'm uniquely imperfect. Well, in your imperfection, that's pretty darn perfect. If you're I'm uniquely imperfect, congratulations, my dear. You are a winner chicken dinner from Scrapbooking Made Simple. Love your username. Just really spoke to me. Now, if you are Diane Shipley, Diane, you are a winner too. Congratulations. Now, what did you, great. Well, I don't know if I am uniquely imperfect as a girl or a guy, but what have you won? You've won some of that wonderful hot off the press, those cards that are ready to embellish and the artful card kits. And all you have to do is email us at asksms@earthlink.net. Say, I'm a winner chicken dinner from YouTube number 108. Give us your name, address, telephone number, and we will get those prizes out to you just as quickly as possible. Congratulations. Okay, I'm about to start for today. So if you have zipped all the way past, this is where you're going to pick up with me. And I'm excited to be back. I'm excited. We're working on anniversary sale orders. Some of you have already seen the charges come through on your credit card. We're working on Shop That Didn't Hop and warehouse sale orders. We're working on regular orders. And it looks like I might have 2 new employees. Woohoo! All right, down we go, you guys. I'll see you in a little bit. Bye. Sorry for getting so teary-eyed. That you just never know when it's going to happen, do you? It just kind of sneaks up on you. Okay, I have got markers here for you, and you're probably looking at them going, okay, but there's lots of markers on the market, and I absolutely agree with you, because we really love our Memento markers, we love our Copic markers, we love our Tim Holtz Distress markers, holy smokes, we love our brush tip markers. But they all do something different. And keeping track of what they do is never the easiest thing. So just like I did last time with the pearl pens and the stickles, I'm going to kind of show you the difference between these two sets of markers so you understand. Now, these are by Faber-Castell, and they're their big brush Pitt pen markers. And they're different than almost anything else on the market. No, they are not alcohol-based. No, they are not water-based. So they're not like a Copic, they're not like a Spectrum Noir. They are not water-based, so they're not like a Tim Holtz Distress marker that will move with water. What these are is a India ink permanent ink. Now people are like, well, what is India ink? Well, it's a type of ink that when it dries permanent, like a Sharpie or like your StazOn, but while it's wet, you can still blend with it. And another very big feature of the Pitt pens is that they work on fabric. They work on burlap, they work on canvas. You can use them with your gessos if you're doing mixed media. That's an important part of these markers. So if you have ribbons that you want to color, or if you're trying to stamp or color on fabric, this is the marker you want to use. This, you can absolutely color your stamps with them, your rubber stamps, much better with rubber than with clear, and you can stamp on your fabric and then go back and color in with the marker. It doesn't feather out everywhere. And once you heat set and then it's permanent, it will never wash out. That's a big plus to these markers. But I do want to show you a few little things about them, and then we're going to work with them a little bit. So what I have here is just some random pieces of paper. Let's grab a couple pieces of paper. And I'm using my Smooth and Silky I wanted to get into the the Stampendous exclusive paper that she has, but we sold it all. I don't even have a pack for me, so I'm still working on Smooth and Silky. Next time I'm gonna get into that Stampendous paper that Fran brought exclusively for Scrapbooking Made Simple, and I'm gonna do something with it. But for now, we're working with our Whirlwind Smooth and Silky, and I'm gonna take my big brush Pitt pen. And it's only one size you only have here, but it's got a fine tip and it's got the broad tip. And I'm just gonna color. I'm just gonna give a color. That's it. Now I'm gonna take my red and I'm gonna move it here. Now while the markers are wet, and it is still wet, I can absolutely take my orange and move it into my red, and it will move that red out. It will not cross-contaminate the pin. I can move my red. It's not ever going to get rid of that line. It's not that type of a blending, but you can pick up the color and move it out. It is okay to do that. And the tips do not contaminate. You just run it until there's nothing, no other red on it, and it's going to be fine. Or I could take my red and change my orange. Either way, it's up to you. But they work beautifully doing that. And they don't go through the back. See how nice that is? They don't, no matter how much ink, they don't go through the back. I mean, I can just keep adding ink and it won't go through the back. And when it's dry permanent. These colors don't muddy. As I'm running color over, they don't muddy. Now that it's dry, the yellow won't blend out. But now that it's dry, the colors don't muddy. They don't make a mess. If you were working with some of the other markers, more your water-based markers like your Tim Holtz, and you start blending the colors, those markers are meant to work together and to blend. And sometimes you can make mud. The nice thing about the Pitt markers is that they don't, and again, they don't go through the back. That's a really big benefit. Also about the markers, let's just grab another one. I'm gonna do 1, 2, 3. So I've made 3 colors of orange. All look right about the same. Now I'm gonna come back and I'm gonna go back on top of that second color. And I'll do the third color. Now you can see that these two are darker than this one. Then I could let it dry a little bit more. I'm gonna do it fast right now because I don't wanna take up too much time. But if I let it dry, I could then come back on top of this third one and add even darker. I've got one here all done, where I've got light, medium, and dark, all with one marker. That's a little different than most markers. Because this dries permanent, it lays the color down and then lets you lay another layer of color on top of it, as opposed to keeping it all just one color. That's a little different than most of the markers. So you can build your color, whether you want light, medium, or dark, with just the one marker. I want to make sure you see that. Light, medium, dark. Now I've got my memento markers here, and I'm just going to put these off to the side, and I'm going to grab my memento markers, which we use all the time. Memento is a wonderful product. They make the full-size pads, they make dewdrops, they make the markers, they make the re-inkers. They are a staple in your arsenal, no question about it. If you're a stamper, if you're a colorer, Memento really is top-notch. But they're different than the Pitt markers. So I'm going to take my red, and you can see right away that there's a little bit of striation in there. The coverage isn't quite as good. I can go back in and color again. But it's never going to have exactly that nice, smooth. Do you see the difference between how smooth this color is versus this one? The Pitt markers are always going to give you that really beautiful smooth color, similar to a Copic, even though it's not an alcohol ink and they don't blend like a Copic, but it's got that beautiful color as opposed to a little more grainy here. That's because these really are meant to go in and color your stamps with, or color on top of your glitter you can use these with. But for all over coloring, they're just okay. Let me take my orange here as well. Again, see the striation lines? Can you see that? Versus the orange here, where it's just a beautiful, smooth, easy, clear, looks absolutely beautiful and flawless. That's the difference between these. Now, I love my mementos, and we stamp with these all the time, and then we color in our stamps. We do a lot with these. This is also a great oops pin for when you're using your full-size memento pad, you stamp with it and you miss just a little bit on the stamp. You take the exact same color marker and you can go in there and fix it without having to restamp it again. But for what we're using for coloring, the Pitt pins really are absolutely gorgeous. It's a completely different look. It's a completely different feel. And not one is better than the other. It just is more important to use the right pen for what it is you're trying to accomplish. And that's where seeing the difference is important. Now we're going to use these two pins together. Here, this is the memento. Remember how I did the Pitt, the light, the medium, and the dark? You can't do that with a memento. Very hard to get light, medium, and dark. Memento is meant to be, it is a dye-based color that gives you the same color over and over and over again. If you were to get light, medium, and dark with memento, that would take away the oops pin. If you had to worry, is this color going to be a little bit lighter or a little bit darker than my full-size pad? No, Sukuniko has made sure that that color is consistent every single time. And when you're stamping, that's what you want. But when you're coloring, you do want variations. You do want to be able to shade. And that's where the difference of these pins come in. But like I said, we're going to use them together. I love the Pitt pins. I love, wait till you see, I'm gonna use them for another thing in about a month. Oh my gosh. Wait till you see what I'm going to use them for. But I love that you can do the fabric with them. I love that the ink dries permanent. I love that it doesn't go through the back. Now, if you're a Copic user or a Spectrum Noir, you know it just seeps right through. This is a different type of marker. So now we're going to use them together. And I'm going to use them with some Stampendous product. Stampendous has new stamps out. They're called pen pattern, like if you were doodling. And I've left it in the package for a very specific reason. I want to take it out of the package and show you something that's really important about Stampendous stamps. These are a cling-based stamp, which means that it is red rubber or gray rubber on the bottom side, and then the top will cling to any of your clear acrylic blocks. I'm going to start with my owl. And I'm just going to take him right out of my package. Put my package over there. And this is what you're going to get. See this big piece right here? That's what you're going to get. Now, most people think that either that's what clings to your block, or they look and they see a little tab that says peel here. Can you see that? I hope I can get that. Oh, that was bad image. Sorry. Peel here is what that says. Well, that doesn't mean peel here. In fact, we had somebody start to peel there and try to peel off the cling stamp from this little sheet. Can you see it's a whole separate little sheet of clear right there. With Stampendous stamps, you have to then peel that extra little piece off. And what you have is a full square of cling that goes all the way around the stamp. You're not going to peel that off. You're not going to try and peel this off. You need to leave that there because that's actually what's going to cling to your clear acrylic block. That's what's going to cling. Not typically, not the gray. Oh, my block must be dirty. Not the gray that we normally have, but this clear right here is what's going to cling. And hopefully I can get it down. I have a feeling my block's dirty. So I'm going to press that cling, and that's what's going to stay. So you don't ever want to pull this extra little piece of clear off the top of your Stampendous stamps. That would not be good. It happens a lot, so I want to make sure you're aware of that. Now I'm going to take my stamp, and hopefully it's going to stay. I don't know if my block's dirty. And if your block is dirty and your stamp's not staying, just grab a wet wipe, a Huggies wipe, a Costco, whatever, baby wipe. Clean your block and clean the top of your stamp where it would cling to. What's usually happened is you've got oils from your hand or embossing powder or glitter, and it has gotten on the front and it's keeping it from clinging. Oh, I'm good now. Woohoo! I am using my Memento ink because we are stamping. And I'm going to ink up my stamp. Now, some people think you need a lot of ink. Is this you? I know some of you are going, oh, that's me. You're doing this. You don't need a lot of ink. A little bit of ink goes a really long way, I promise you. I'm going to put my lid right back on. I am on my stamp mat that we do sell. Remember that we cut it. This is 1/4 of the stamp mat that we sell. It's actually twice as wide and twice as long. But to be able to ship it to you, we have to cut it in half. And we do make a note of that in the product listing online. If you're shopping in store, well, you can cut your own in half. But what's nice is that you can cut it into like 4s and share it with friends. So I'm going to put my stamp down. I'm going to give a good press. And what the stamp mat is doing is it's allowing me to make really good contact between my stamp and my paper, because it's giving my stamp something to sink into. If I was stamping on the hard table, there would be nothing for that stamp to sink into to make really nice contact. Also, we're not doing chest compressions. We're not going like this. We're just giving nice, good, all over pressure. And pull up. And there's my image. Okay, beautiful stamp. This is what is called a pen pattern stamp from Stampendous, and it's new for them. It gives you the opportunity to go in and doodle a little bit. Now, I started with the owl because the owl, they've already done all the little doodling for you, and all you have to do is go in and color. So, at this point, you can absolutely take your Faber-Castell big brush Pitt pens, and you can go in there and add a little bit of color. It's not necessarily about being 100% right on. It's just about adding color. I like to leave white space. I like the white negative space, so I don't color absolutely everything in. And then maybe I take my orange and I do some orange down here. The idea is that comes from a Zentangle type of feel. And if you don't know what Zentangle is a craft where you sit there and you doodle. It's absolutely beautiful. But I don't have the time to Zentangle, and I like having it very simple, where it's almost done for me. All I have to do is go in and color. Now, if I wanted to, I could absolutely pull in my mementos. This, when you're doing the owl, where something's already patterned for you, any kind of marker you want to use is good. Anything will work. I can just go in there, get right in there, and add, if I want to add some yellow. It's just really about coloring and what makes you happy. So I could take him and just keep on going. And this is really great in front of the TV set. This is awesome to do when you're in front of the TV set, or if you have kids, or if you're working with seniors, because all they're doing is filling in the space. I want to show you a couple of the owls that we've done. There's one. There's one. So here's an owl that we have completely finished. And you can see we left lots of white space. It's not about necessarily coloring everything in. Here's purple. We did this as a make and take. Everybody made one of these, and they all did different ones. It was really fun to see all the different color combinations, but you can see all the white space. And this allows you to have a colored image, a stamped image, without being an expert in Copic or without being an expert in alcohol markers and shadings and shadowings. This lets you color in and having everybody go, oh my gosh, that looks so good. But really all you did was color in the doodles. I won't tell. So this is a very easy stamp to use because Stampendous has given you all the lines to follow, and you color what you like and you leave empty what you want to leave empty. It's up to you how much white space you want to leave. But next I'm going to move to one that is a little different. I've got the house. Let me try and get a non-glare. I've got the house here, and again, it's still in the package. I'm going to open the package up, and I'm going to pull it out. It's on this clear sheet, and this is where I do want the glare so you can see it. It's on this clear sheet. But then, if you turn it around, there's another piece of clear right along here. Can you see it? Right along there, and it says peel here, and that's what they mean. They mean to separate the big piece of acetate from what is going to be your cling. They do not mean for you to peel the stamp off the index right here that lets it cling. You need to keep that. You need to keep that. It's really important. We had a lot of people want to just peel this right on off thinking that the gray then would stick, but that's not the case, not with the Stampendous stamps. Now I'm going to take this to my block. Oh, see? No dirt on this one. This one's going to cling beautifully. Oh, maybe my block. Look at that. I'm going to press it down, all the cling around it, and then I'm going to ink it up and I'm going to stamp. So I'm going to use my Memento ink again. I'm going to ink it up. Now this is a brand new stamp, so anytime you have a brand new stamp, you want to stamp it a couple times before you really try to get a good impression because it may have a little bit of residue on it. And then I'm going to put it on down. I've got my gush pad. I'm going to set it on down, and I'm going to give a nice all-over press. And I'm going to let that ink sink into the paper. And I've got my gush, so I've got really good contact between my stamp and my paper. All right, let's pull up. Oh, perfect. Easy peasy mac and cheesy. But as you can see, it's different than the owl. The owl gave you all those little lines to fill in, while this stamp, their pen pattern stamps, leave a lot of it empty. Now, most of you would look at this if you are not into Copics or Spectrum Noirs or coloring with markers, and you would say, wow, that's a lot to color. And I'm not good with shadings, I'm not good with shadows. I hear this from Mary Lynn all the time. Mary Lynn, SMS girl, Mary Lynn, she's like, don't make me color that, I don't color well. She was a preschool teacher, she should be coloring really good. She's like, I don't shade and I don't shadow. It's like, okay, Mary Lynn, I want you to do something different with this. I want you to doodle it. And I want you to create color by just doing dots and dashes and lines. And I want you to see how easy this is. Now, I'm going to grab my Pitt marker, and I am literally just going to do lines across. Oh, got a little bit of a fuzzy there. I'm going to go lines straight across and just make a diagonal. And then I'm going to come this way and make a diagonal. And I'm not coloring. All I'm doing is doodling. Okay. All right, so, but then you add to it. Now you can go in and I can add little orange dots in the center of each diamond, adding more color and more what they call texture to the image because you're adding different shapes and different colors. But everything I did right there, I learned how to do in kindergarten. And it's so stinking cute. And it's easy. And it fills the stamp in without you going, okay, do I need to have shadow down here and highlight up there? And what 3 colors do I use? This gives you an opportunity to use the stamps that are more open without being an expert color. And you can always tell the pen pattern stamps from Stampendous because they've got these little doodles all around them like they've been hand drawn. So what next? Well, I don't know. Let's go and do yellow. How about yellow going all the way down? We'll just do yellow stripes all the way down. And it's not about being perfect. It's about getting that color on there and making it look cute. So I've added yellow stripes. All right, no big deal to that, but this is where having the different markers work well together. I want something a little bit thinner than a broad stroke. Now, my Pitt pens will give me nice thin lines if I want. I can go in there and I can get a nice pretty thin line with my Pitt markers, but I can't get as fine as I can with my Memento because Memento has got dual tip. It's got the bullet point at one end and the brush at the other. So this is where the bullet point comes in really handy because I can go in there and I can draw orange, cute little orange lines, little hash marks, and just decorate. And there's no right and there's no wrong. And the beauty of it is that it's paper. If you don't like it, then stamp again. Literally turn it over and stamp again. But look at how cute it's becoming. Look at with the cute little hash lines. And then if I wanted, I could take my Pitt marker and I could go back in and do little dots in between all the hash. It's really up to you. Now it's getting really cute. Just ask me, I'll tell you. And where I want my big open space to have lots of color, that's where you're going to use the Pitt markers because they don't leave any kind of lines. They don't leave what I had shown earlier. They don't leave the lines that you can see there. It's a far more fluid, solid color. So if I want all red here, I'm just gonna go in there and color it all red. And this is where having that nice, big, wide brush tip comes handy. And look at how smooth that color is. Let's finish on this side. And if I want it darker, if I want a deeper red, I'm going to let it dry. And then I'm going to come back and I can go on top of this to give me an even deeper and even richer red that you can't do with the Memento. Won't happen. You want your Pitt markers, your big brush markers, to be able to enhance that color. Really pretty. So I could just continue using my Memento to do my little, to do my little hash lines wherever I see fit. And then maybe I want to add my red here too. So I'm just going to color that right on in. And my house is getting done. And without too much work, you've filled in a stamp that when you look at it, you might go, oh my gosh, I could never color that. Then don't color it. Doodle it. Just doodle it. You could add your little, shingles. Just doodle it and put some color in there. You can't go wrong. And before you know it, the house has taken shape, it's filled in color, and you haven't done any shading and you haven't done any shadowing. This is easy and everybody can do this. Everybody, because all you're doing is what you generally do when you're sitting on the telephone talking with somebody. I know when I'm sitting on the telephone, I'm like drawing, I'm doing hearts, I'm doing Stacy loves Michael. Well, yeah, I do, and I still do that when I doodle. But all you're doing is doodling. I don't know, for the longest time I used to doodle something like that. I have no clue why. This little, I don't know, but I think Paloma Picasso once did something like that, and I thought it was uber cool. But look at how fun is this. I want to show you some examples, some samples we did with the house. Okay, so we took, well, let me have, we took this stamp. No, I guess I don't have an empty one. We took this stamp, plain. We stamped it and started working on it with just some little doodles. And we ended with this. Look at that. Can you see there's hardly any work to that at all? And it's not pristine, it's not perfect, but it's not supposed to be. But how stinking cute is this? Congratulations on your new home. Welcome home. Just home is where the heart is. How cute is that? And look at the yellow one. I love the yellow one, the yellow and the green. And this is only using 2 colors of pen. That's it. 2 colors, yellow and green. That's all. Isn't that cute? You've taken a stamp that you might look at and go, oh, no, I don't color. Well, yeah, actually you do. And here it is. All right. So those are really beautiful ways. Here, you know what? Here are some of the others. These are what most people think of coloring, is adding all of that shading and that shadowing. And yes, it's beautiful. And yes, if you have the talent to do it, absolutely. I think with enough practice, anybody can do the shadings and shadows. But look at the stamp a different way. Look at it for doodles. Look at it just to fill it in and add quirky humor to it. I can't imagine anybody not smiling if they got this card. You would just look at that and smile. And isn't that what it's about? Making somebody happy when you give them a handmade card. I think they're beautiful. So, Pitt pen patterns are from Stampendous. They're kind of new for them. I'm gonna show you some of them because I've got lots of samples, but I wanna move on to the twofer of this show, which is to show you a little bit of what we did at the anniversary sale. So when you get your product, you know what to do. Okay, so here's one of the, see, and you can tell it's got the little swirlies down at the bottom. But how cute are these? The little moose, the little penguin, and no, they're not all Christmas. I'm going to show you samples a little bit later of the bird. The bird is beautiful. Wait till you see the bird all done. Oh my gosh, it's gorgeous. The little dragonfly, the little fish. Wait till you see the sample of the little fish. The mermaid. And all you have to do is doodle them in. Leave white space where you want to leave white space because it needs that negative. It needs that negative space. That's what I'm talking about. When I say negative space, I mean all that white space that I didn't do. That's a negative space, and it needs that. So you don't necessarily want to fill the whole thing in all the time. All right, so that's some of the pen pattern from Stampendous. And again, I think they're just absolutely, gorgeous and too much fun. The owl's a good way to start because he's super cute and it gives you some guides, some to play with. But then let your heart go, let your hands go and see what happens. Remember, it's just white paper. It's okay. If you don't like it, turn it over, stamp again, try again. You can do this. So I'm going to put these aside and I'm going to pull out some of the stuff we did for the anniversary sale. And I'm going to try to be quick about this. These were the make and takes for the anniversary sale. You probably remember this card if you saw the countdown to the anniversary sale. And this is what all of our customers came in and did. We had a lot of questions on how did you get the butterfly and the hummingbird to look the way you did. I'm going to show you how to do that. It's very simple. Truly, it is. When I say scrapbooking made simple, I mean it. The first thing you're going to need is your sukwang tape. Now, you're going to want to have at least a 2.5-inch roll. I've got my 6-inch roll here because I'm very lucky and I own the store and I get to have a 6-inch roll. But for those of you who have to be a little more budget conscious, you really want to have at least a 2.5-inch roll. That's going to let you do a lot of things, not as much as a 5 or a 6, but really you're going to be able to do quite a bit. Now, I'm going to take this, and I've got just a piece of basic cardstock. That's all I've got, basic cardstock, white cardstock. And I'm going to take this and take my scissors or an X-Acto blade, and I'm just going to go down. And I'm hoping that this is sharp enough to cut. Yeah, perfect. So I've got sticky right now. This is sticky. I have to do something with it right now. I can't just let it hang here. No matter if I stick it down, it's going to stick to something. I need to put it on my cardstock right away. Once I've done this, heck, you can leave this for years until you pull back this top piece and expose that extra sticky. You're good. You can leave this for a long time. So what I've got over here, these are the ones that I used for my Be a Glitter Goddess class. I've got the cardstock with my sukwang tape right on it. Now I am going to have to use my Big Shot machine to do this because this product from Stampendous is the stamp and die set. There we go. The stamp and the die set to match. And that's what we used to make that card. All right, so I'm going to put these back over here for a minute. And I'm going to grab my Sizzix Big Shot machine. Now all of you know we love our Sizzix Big Shot machine. It is the die cutting machine of choice here at Scrapbooking Made Simple. And that's because it's the most universal machine. It lets you do everything. It's affordable. It is a workhorse. It just keeps going and going and going. Now I do have my magnetic platform here, which is what I'm going to use today. If you were using your multi-purpose platform that came with your machine, you would keep that multi-purpose platform completely closed. You would not open any of the tabs, and that would be your base platform. Multi-purpose platform completely closed, or your magnetic platform. I'm going to put my cut plate down because with the magnetic platform, I need my cut plate on the bottom because the whole purpose of the magnetic platform is that once your die is down, your paper doesn't move. It doesn't slide. No more Post-it notes or washi tape or repositionable tape, whatever you were using to keep your dies in place. That magnetic platform now does that for you. Then I'm going to put my do not cut plate on top. And as you can see, it got cut. Oh well. I'm gonna roll it on through. And I think I'm gonna roll it front and back just because I'm going through my sukwang tape and cardstock. Move it off to the side. Pull it out. And then I would pop my die right on out. And I've got my die cut. But it still has that top sheet on. I haven't done anything with it. All right, this is where we get to have a little bit of fun. Push my die out, make sure you don't throw that away. And I wouldn't throw this away either because you can then trim this piece out into a nice square. You can glitter the top. You can put this onto a piece of patterned cardstock and make a whole nother card. I would by no means get rid of this either. I would be using that. Now, to make the look similar to this, there is an absolute technique, and it is easy, easy, easy. But I want to show you what not to do. So I'm going to take my, make sure I have my second one here. Yep. I want to take my top piece off and I want to expose all of my sticky. Now remember, you never throw this away because this is a mask. You can use this for so many other things, and if you go back in my YouTubes, you'll see what I'm talking about. But here we go. So I'm going to drizzle a little bit of my glitter, and I am using the Stampendous glitter for this, and it is a microfine glitter similar to Elizabeth Craft's Polished Silk, but different. It really is different. It behaves a little differently, and you have to use a different ink when you're stamping on it. So I want you to be aware of that, and the colors are absolutely gorgeous. They don't have quite the range of colors that Elizabeth Crafts have, but the colors they do have are completely different than Elsa's colors. So should you have it all? Yes. Okay, so I want to drizzle a little bit of my glitter just on the end and tap it off. Now somewhere here I had my mop brush. Couldn't tell you where I put it, but I had my little brush to brush everything off of. Well, so you're going to take and brush off the excess glitter. Now, the important thing to know is if I was putting my glitter here and I drizzled it down, and then I turned it over to let the glitter drizzle off, it would end up covering my whole butterfly. That's not what you want. You need to dump the glitter, always going down so that the parts that are not glittered yet don't get covered. That's really, really, really important. I'm still looking for my mop brush. Gosh darn it, I know I brought it up with me. So what a mop brush is a little makeup brush just to brush everything off. Just to brush it right back in the bowl. So I've got another one here, and I am going to expose my sticky. So I die cut this one out already. I'm going to expose my sticky. And now I'm going to do this one right. And I'm going to take and I'm going to run a little bit of glitter down, tap off, then I'm going to rotate it. And I'm going to do a little bit of glitter down, tap off. Now I'm going to grab my second color, my yellow. And my yellow is going to go right on top of that pink. I'm just going to put it a little bit higher up and tap off. Now, because this is microfine glitter, there's no cross-contamination. The pink does not come off into the yellow. I'm going to take my yellow and I'm going to go right on top of my pink. And tap off. Can you see where we are so far? Then I'm going to grab my last color. And you can use as many colors as you want. Holy smokes. As long as you keep going in order, I'm going to put my purple. Well, actually, I'm going to put my purple right there. See how it's covering everything? I'm just going to tap it right off. See how it tapped right off? And it's perfect. Now I'm going to put a little bit of purple on this side. Tap it off. And then I think I'm just going to do pink in the center. And cover the whole thing. And tap off. See where we're at so far? This is where you're now going to burnish that. You're going to take your finger and you're not going to, it's not a gentle rub, it's not scouring, but you want to get in there and you want to rub it because what that's going to do is that's going to set the glitter. It's going to set the glitter. Now I do it like this. I do it like this because I'm usually talking at the same time that I'm doing this, and so I can't sit there and look down because it's kind of rude. But there we go. That is how you achieve the butterfly. Now over here, remember, I I had this one that I accidentally put all the pink over. Okay, don't throw it away. Take a little bit of yellow, throw a little bit of yellow in there. Take a little bit of purple maybe, just a hair bit of purple, throw a little bit of purple in there. Maybe add a little more yellow. Because the glitters don't cross-contaminate, you don't want to lose it, you want to still use it. Why not? You're gonna take it and burnish it and use it. So we're almost done with the butterflies. We're almost done, but we still have one step left, and that's to stamp on top of it. Now with Elizabeth Craft glitter, her polished silk, you need to use Memento, mandatory. But with Stampendous' glitter, no, do not use Memento. You need to use StazOn. You cannot use StazOn well with Elizabeth Craft's glitter. Something in the properties of the glitter are completely different. So you need to use StazOn when you're using the Stampendous microfine glitter. So I'm gonna take my stamp, pull him off, put him on. I'm gonna open up my StazOn, ink them up, and then instead of laying this down flat and trying to line it up, I am just going to lay him right on top of my stamp. So my ink stamped is face up. I'm gonna lay him right on top, line him up best as I can. Just take a random piece of paper, press down, and give a good press. You cannot use StazOn with Elizabeth Craft's polished silk glitter. It's not good. Pull them up. And I took my butterfly from plain to detailed. That simple. It really is very easy. The key to it is to have your glitter in bowls. You can always put it back in whatever little tubs you have it in, but to have it in bowls so that when you put it on your Sukwang tape and your die cut, it just falls right down and you're not trying to get it back into a little container. You can put this back later, but have it in bowls when you're going to use it, so then when you do your layering, it's very easy to do. Now I can just work with him and get him three-dimensional, and it's beautiful. These are the new Stampendous stamps and dies that we had for the anniversary sale, and we're going to have them for you again on a YouTube Yummy. They were so popular, but they're absolutely gorgeous. The key is using your Sukwang tape and having your glitter in bowls. Remembering that you put it along the bottom and then dust off. Then the next color goes on top of the first color and dust off. And then your last color goes on top of those two colors and down. Unless you like that look. And if you like that look, well, by all means, let's go ahead and let's ink it up one more time. And we'll put the dimension on him. We'll lay him flat. Put a random piece of paper on top just so we don't get our fingers all messy. Pretty. It looks really good, doesn't it? Now I don't know which one I like better. Isn't that awesome? Look at that. They're gorgeous, aren't they? Oh, I really do like that one. It looks really good. So this is one of the ways you're going to use these when you get your product from the anniversary sale, which we're working on now. Woohoo, ka-choo! So what did we go over today? Oh my gosh, we went over a lot. We talked about Pitt pens and the difference between a Pitt pen and a regular marker, and how the Memento markers and your Tim Holtz markers and your Copic markers are completely different than these. These give you that beautiful, beautiful color, that very solid color without the lines going through. They are permanent when they dry. They're an India-based ink. That means they can go on fabric and burlap and canvas, and that you are able to adjust the intensity of the color by how many times you go over it and it does not go through the back. Love Pitt pens. Yes, they are really an all-purpose marker, a little bit different than the Mementos, but these two work in conjunction beautifully together, and I have to say they work well with your Copics as well. So if you've colored in with Copic and you need to add detail, the Pitt pens work beautifully on your Copics as well. So we talked about that. We talked about taking an open stamp and just doodling and doodling, add little flourishes and making it stinking cute, because it's not always about shading and shadowing and coloring. We're not all able to do that or have the time or the expertise, but everybody can sit in front of the TV while they're watching, or in their craft room when they just need to decompress a little bit, and let your fingers do the doodling. You do it on the phone. Well, now that smartphones happen, I don't know. I used to have an old phone where I could doodle, but but it's a lot of fun, and it fills that space up without having a tremendous amount of talent. I am one of those that is not overly talented when it comes to shading and shadowing. So this was an awesome way for me to color stamps. We talked about the anniversary sale and the products that we used. I want to bring up some samples of, let's start with the Pitt pens, I think. Let's start with the markers. Let me move that out of the way. I want to show you a bunch of samples that we've got. We do have a lot of samples, so bear with me as I get through them as quickly as possible. Remember that bird I showed you? How cute is that? He's just stamped and colored in. Darling. Look at how cute the heart is. Just dots and dashes and stripes and easy to do. Look at how cute the turtle is. Again, just using basic markers, your Pitt markers, your Copics if you want, but you're not going to be doing shading and shadowing, but your Mementos, again, our little birdie. Who wouldn't love to get these cards? How fun are they? And they do, they just make you smile. Now this is using one of the backgrounds. There's a background stamp where the background has been doodled in, filled in where they gave you the doodles, and then cut up and mosaicked onto the card sample. Here's another house. Love this house. And I just want you to see, it's not perfect. It's not supposed to be. It's supposed to be fun and easy and giving you an opportunity to get creative into something that you might not normally do. Look at the fish. Fish is so, so cute. And then we do have one where we've colored it all the way in for you. And then I've showed you these already, so I'm not going to go back through those, but I do have a couple layouts where we have used the open stamps to embellish the layout. There's the bird, there's the heart. You absolutely can use your stamps to embellish your layouts. And look, we just trimmed around all of the little lines. Very easy to do, but it makes such a beautiful little layout. Isn't that cute? And then here, remember that background one I showed you? Here it is complete, or before it's been mosaicked. And there's another layout using the stamps, your big brush Pitt pens, and just making a beautiful page. So that's easy enough to do. And then I wanted to show you a couple samples from the anniversary sale. Of course, we did the hummingbird and we did the butterfly for the anniversary sale. That was the make and take. But then we also have the leaves, where it's a die and a stamp, and here we've used the Luxe and we've used the different products that from Stampendous that we had on sale that day. And that butterfly, there's the large butterfly out of that set, where again we've used the spoonfuls and the Luxe. Here we've done the glitter and added the mica. Really pretty. Here we've got the hummingbird, and we used the spoonfuls and we heat embossed that in from underneath, remember, from underneath. But these were all done using the glitter the way I just showed you. Oh my gosh, I love this card. I love the greens and the browns, the teals. The snowflakes, we have the stamp and the die set. Here's another snowflake. Just beautiful. And last but not least, another fall leaf. Remember, when you're using the Stampendous glitter, these are the sets. There's a couple sets, but these are the two newest sets, and I don't know that they're out yet for everybody, but this is the spring and this is the Valentine. And when you're using this glitter, you're going to treat it very similar to the Elizabeth Crafts. The difference is when you stamp on it, you stamp with, yes, stays on. All right, let me show you the stamp and the die sets really quick, and then we will be done for the day. I know it's been long. I don't even want to imagine how long I've been talking. But there are, let's see if I can get a better, there are the die set and the stamp set for the snowflakes. And here is the butterfly set, where you get the 3 butterfly stamps and the 3 butterfly dies. And then the fall leaves, and obviously these are pen pattern because they've got all the little detail in there. Talk about easy for you to do. But if you don't stamp on top of them, no worries. Then you just do this and you color it with all the glitters. And last but not least, the hummingbird set. All right, I have shown you a lot today. I hope you stayed with me. It's me, Stacy, Scrapbooking Made Simple. Where are you going to get all of this great product? Easy peasy. You're going to go to www.shop@sms.com. The word shop, the word @sms.com, and this is all going to be on a YouTube Yummy sale for you for the next 10 days. Just remember, we do not start processing YouTube sale orders until approximately 1 week after the end of the sale. So if you order today, we won't even start to look at the order until about 17 days from today. And oh my gosh, we got almost everybody who ordered the double stick stickers. Be looking for look in your inbox. You're going to be getting a shipping record soon. Woohoo! All right, you guys, it's me, Stacy. Thank you so much for hanging and for just letting me be me. I appreciate it. I'll see you next week. Bye.